you waiting for me? Were you waiting for me to talk about how excited I am, to talk about how this show made me feel? I've said, well, first off, apologies. I had the stream set up probably about 3 hours ago. Then I went downstairs to get a snack. But while I was down there, my sister wanted to play a game. Well, I did too, of Mario Party. We didn't just play one game. We played 2 games, including the second game where my father joined in. Never played in his life. And yeah, I got last, he got third, the CPU player got second, my sister got first. So long story short, a few hours later, I'm back. And currently, it's raining outside. So that most likely means my softball game is going to get canceled tomorrow morning. And then, here I am, getting ready to talk about Friday Night Smackdown. Now, for those of you who are wondering, why am I sounding not so excited? Why not so hyper? Why not so energetic? Because SmackDown, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's been a watchable show. Well, first off, I'm going to be nice and not yell, because I know my sister and her dog, my furry little nephew are trying to sleep in the room next to me. So I'm not going to go ballistically nuts. But this episode of SmackDown was one of those episodes where I read over the results and looked over the results and thought, this really wasn't a bad show. It was not as bad as it looked. But the problem was, this was that show. You ever have that one mistake that's made, and it feels like it screws up everything? That was done on this show. Plus, the news that was broke this week, the rumors that are floating around, and a big blow, of course, that happened for the women's division. Yeah, this, unfortunately, despite the fact that it wasn't horrible, which is why I didn't give it a D or an F. I gave it a C-. But this was one of those shows that just really deflated me. It deflated my excitement because WWE did not pull the trigger and pull the plug on something I feared the last week or two they were going to do. They did exactly what I was going to, and this what they were going to do, what they shouldn't have done, and this was basically a knockdown to the reality era. Fans are coming back, and unfortunately, things are not going to change. In terms of, yes, things being more organic, correct, but the way your shows are treated as far as new stars being built, no. Someone else getting an opportunity, no. As far as, things to look forward to, no. Things that aren't too predictable, no. Things are predictable. Literally just a show that shows that WWE just does things on purpose. They purposely do things to piss us off. And they know we don't like it. We know we don't like it when they get our hopes up that they're actually going to push someone, even though they literally did, just so he would sign a contract and not go to AEW, Cesaro. Yes, that's going to be the biggest talking point of this stream. And then, of course, I'm sure years down the line where, we get tired of them teasing us with a Cesaro push, then not pushing him whatsoever, kind of like they did with Braun Strowman, that when Braun Strowman won the Universal title, nobody cared. But I thought you loved Braun Strowman. Yeah, we did. And you just drained out all of his momentum and literally put him in the spots that he should have been in 3 years ago when you needed him there. You didn't do that for Braun Strowman. You did that for yourself. And then as soon as basically you don't need him anymore, you release the guy. Well, that's what happened on this show. They literally took out the main person that should be winning Money in the Bank. They pulled the plug on him, and now he's not in the match. And that just severely puts a damper, especially with the other rumors that I've been hearing. First, let's check the live chat. First, guys, if I didn't introduce myself yet, what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are live for a very, very late night review of Friday night's episode of Smackdown, the July 9th, 2021 edition. It was the final episode of Smackdown to take place in the WWE Thunderdome at the Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida. As next Friday, in Houston, Texas, I think it is, it'll be the first live show for WWE back in front of fans. We still got Raw on Monday in the Thunderdome. Then it's off to Texas. And they begin touring on the road again. And of course, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, in a week, we go to Fort Worth, Texas, and we have Money in the Bank. And for a while, I was pretty excited about Money in the Bank. Now, this show really killed it. And, you try not to let that one thing ruin it for you. But, let me give an example. No Mercy 2017 was a good show. There was, other than the Cruiserweight title match and the finish, and then the match with Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman. Coming out of that show, what did it feel like? Nothing mattered but Roman Reigns. You came out of this show, and it feels like nothing else mattered but Roman Reigns. And of course, from Raw, Drew McIntyre. And it's a shame to say that. We wanted... Getting a little too far ahead of myself. Basically, long story short, this show ruined the men's Money in the Bank ladder match because they made a huge mistake not putting a certain somebody into that ladder match. And now, the Money in the Bank ladder match is pretty predictable. It's pretty predictable, and I do not like what they're about to do. And the talent who's going to suffer from this, I feel sorry for him. Because this is not his fault. But yet, they're setting us up to hate on someone that we once wanted to be in this spot. But now that you've overdone it, given many opportunities, now you've literally just made him the next John Cena, the next Roman Reigns. But we'll talk about that. As it's already 10 minutes in, it's late at night, I have a softball game in the morning, and I have a big family get-together tomorrow for the first time in like a year and a half. Let's check the live chat first before we do anything. What's up, TN Couponer? Not too bad. I obviously, like I said, this show really deflated my excitement for WWE getting fans back. Again, NXT is heating back up again. AEW is doing awesome. The show, again, just deflated my excitement, though, for both Raw and SmackDown with a live audience. He hates that Bayley was injured. We'll address some news also before we get into the actual SmackDown review. We got Angela Morgan. That's a new one. What's up, Angela? Will Bayley come back as a heel or a face? I don't know. We'll talk about that, though, in a second. Next weekend will be 2 pay-per-views. Saturday is Impact Wrestling Slammiversary, and Sunday is Money in the Bank for WWE. That is true. Of course, I wonder who will be showing. I don't think I'll be watching Slammiversary, but I wonder who will be showing up for Slammiversary. You remember Daniel Bryan maybe showing up there. We'll see. But yes. Before we get started, let's address a couple of rumors, some news that has happened this week. First, let's start off with the earliest one that happened. Earlier in the week, Jimmy Uso was arrested for his 4th DUI. I believe it was his 4th one in 4 years, I think they said. And it looks like he was let go and WWE is not going to do anything about it as of now, unless I missed something. Because Jimmy was on SmackDown this week. And I was surprised because I'm just like, because the last time he had a DUI, I think it was both him and Naomi were involved with it. Was Jay? I can't remember. But they were both involved in it, and they were off TV for like half a year. They were off TV for a long time. But this fourth one, he's already back on TV. Found it a little bit strange. Fourth DUI, though, I definitely would. I feel like, they need to take a little more action than just brushing it off. Yes, this is no Velveteen Dream scenario. I'm not going to compare it to that. But I don't like how they just kind of, brushed it off. And yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I was a little not thrilled whenever they had Jimmy on SmackDown tonight. So we'll see. Here's my question: are they still are some of these pre-taped? I feel like some of these are pre-taped. I don't know though. Could have been, maybe that's why he was there. I don't know, but I still feel like they should not have had Jimmy Uso on SmackDown this week. Period. Because of what just happened. Second news report is, this one was definitely truth. I'll do the two things that's true, and then I'll talk about the two rumors and the reasons why it's dampening my excitement for Money in the Bank, because of what I'm afraid they're going to do. The second thing that happened this week is it was announced early on Friday that Bayley suffered an injury during a mandatory return to the road training session. Apparently it was a freak accident, and apparently it has an injury to do with the knee. I think it was a torn ACL. And Bayley's going to be out for about 9 months, which really sucks. I know there was times since Bayley's been a heel that I said I can't stand how they book her as a heel. Honestly, though, with the story, the brief and too short of a story, that they had with Sasha and Bayley, and just having that one Hell in a Cell match and then that one match on SmackDown, just like it was nothing. Like, that was a big, long-ass money feud. And then, but the story that told me up to that point, it kind of made me in some ways forgive how they booked Bayley as a heel. Making her, just like doing like wonky things, like, just basically has some very childish things that she did. Like holding a thing of Lacey Evans' daughter up on a head on a stick, and a couple other things was just too weird. But the simple story behind of obviously Sasha and Bayley, taking over, where yes, Sasha is aggressive, but it's all business. Bayley just went complete psycho. It worked. Even though I still think her character at times is a little too annoying, it still works. So definitely losing her, even though, and that definitely means that the I Quit match with Bianca and Bayley at Money in the Bank is off. So even though it was a third match, and I didn't really care because I'm like, okay, they're giving Bayley all these opportunities that she hasn't really earned them. She's done nothing but just laugh at Bianca for God knows what reason whatsoever, made no sense. Give them credit, the matches they had, especially the Hell in a Cell match, they capitalized. And I'm pretty sure they could have done an excellent Money in the Bank ladder match. But here's another example also of why you don't take it for granted and book everyone else on your roster like shit, especially when you have absolutely nobody on that women's roster. And then, look what you gotta do. You gotta randomly call up 3 NXT talents to fill your division. 2 of them sound like they're already changing their names, or shortening their names. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, that's a big loss. I mean, I don't know what Bayley would have done, after she finished her feud with Bianca, but definitely her name in that division was definitely needed to help keep the momentum and put over the new ones coming in, or help build stars. Well, then again, they don't build stars because most of these people, it's like they've had their chances how many times for WWE to capitalize on them, and instead they didn't, and they just made them look like shit. So that's a big blow. The other two are just rumors that I've heard that I want to address. Is both world title matches at SummerSlam may be getting impacted. But again, these ones I cannot confirm, but I've heard rumors. The first one I heard is that apparently John Cena has another movie starting to be filmed around SummerSlam. Because of that, he may not be able to get the time off to work his rumored main event match of SummerSlam against Roman Reigns. I know there was some people that, weren't excited about that match. I was up to giving it a shot. Like I said, I enjoyed the build for that match at No Mercy in 2017. I just hated the fallout. Because to me, they really had a chance to do something big with that match. And instead it was just Roman beat Cena clean, I respect John Cena, and just typical, bullcrap they did. Coming out, like I said before, coming out of the shows feeling like nothing mattered except for Roman Reigns. With a definite heel dynamic with Roman Reigns and John Cena just being John Cena, that would have worked. So if they do that, I don't know what they're going to do about SummerSlam, even though I know what they should do if that's not the case, especially after what they did on this week's episode of SmackDown. The other rumor I'm hearing is what really worries me. Brock Lesnar may not be at SummerSlam. And I wanted Brock to be there because I wanted to see him versus Bobby Lashley. The thing is, though, I didn't want Brock Lesnar just to come back and face Bobby Lashley. I wanted Bobby Lashley to beat Brock Lesnar. But rumors have it, Brock Lesnar is not willing to come back because he doesn't want just to come back briefly just to put over Bobby Lashley. So that has me even more worried for Money in the Bank for the lengths they may have to go to bring back Brock Lesnar. Because WWE has to rely on the Brock Lesnars and the John Cenas and the Goldbergs and the Undertakers. Well, they shouldn't anymore because Undertaker's retired, I hope. The Shawn Michaels, the Triple H's, all of them. So, if that's the case, they may have really blown, again, after this show, they may have really blown up everything. Unfortunately. They've been taking Raw and SmackDown scripts, tearing them up, literally 3 hours before the show. They need to be starting from scratch completely with their SummerSlam plans. Maybe. There's some stuff I'm sure is not affected, like Bianca and Sasha for SummerSlam. Heck, here's the thing also. If they end up canceling and not having John Cena and Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, honestly, make Bianca and Sasha the main event of SummerSlam. And do it in an Iron Woman match, as I keep suggesting. But that's other reasons. Those 4 things, again, Jimmy Uso's arrest, Bayley's injury, and the rumors of John Cena and Brock Lesnar now may not be able to be there for SummerSlam. All that just adds into the huge disappointment that came out of this episode of SmackDown. Before I get rolling, though, let me check the live chat first. And we've got, to answer TN Couponer's question, I don't know. I don't know if Bayley will come back as a heel or a face. She did cut like an exclusive about her injury, and it was somewhat heelish. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Bayley go back to being a face. I won't deny that. I mean, like I said, in some ways, even though I've hated at times, her heel character at times has worked. Her going back to being a face, I don't know what she'd be doing, though. I'd be okay with. If she comes back, though, I'd say put her back on Raw, though. Sasha's going to be on SmackDown for a long time, I think. You can put Bayley back on Raw. I feel like when she does come back, though, which probably won't be until around WrestleMania 38, probably. Angela says, Roman turned on the Usos. His family ran out of the ring from Edge and watched Edge beat the scrap out of his nephews. Well, cousins. They're doing nothing to help such a coward. Right. Well, we'll get into that in a second. How it looks like it's that thing where it's like, I'll wait till let me get into the review first. But we'll do it in that. But thank you for stopping the live chat, guys. But let's just talk about this show. Let's actually get into the actual review. The show opened up with the segment with Edge and Jimmy Uso last week, which I thought was completely pointless. ridiculous. I'm sorry. I mean, I know that Edge is playing the mind games using, the callback with that shot with, taking that piece of the chair and putting it over doing that crossface with, on Roman like he did at WrestleMania. I mean, obviously, again, he's doing this to get into the head of Roman Reigns. Now that Daniel Bryan's gone and out of the way, and Edge has a one-on-one shot with Roman, he's trying to get into his head, which I do like that part. But the show opened up with Paul Heyman hanging out outside of Roman Reigns' locker room when Jimmy rolls up and says he has to block him from seeing his cousin. Paul says Roman is going to go handle something else right now, but Uso will get his full attention. Jimmy seems to accept this and walks away. Roman comes out with Heyman. He starts talking, taking issue with Edge's statements last week. He's an honest man, and he'll tell the truth. For one moment, you can ask any fighter, ask Brock, fear can happen, so maybe 10, 20 seconds, he might have had some fear. But what did that do? It gave him the will to push through, smash him, stack him, and pin him, both of them. They printed a shirt. So don't ever come out here and say you're in his head, because that's not possible. That's a lie. The only reason you got him a few weeks ago is because he was distracted with family business. Which brings out Jimmy Uso. Like I said, why was he on SmackDown after having his 4th DUI arrest? I don't know. He asked Roman, where were you last week? And Roman says he told him to make decisions for them, and if anybody earned a vacation, he did. But he didn't take a vacation. He was busy doing the job that Jimmy was not able to do, which was to get Jey Uso to come back. Jey Uso returns for the first time in a few weeks. The last time we saw Jey Uso was when he was tired of being in the middle of the beef with Roman and Jimmy, as Roman was constantly trying to get Jimmy to just acknowledge him. Basically, fall into the same trap that Jey Uso has fallen into. So Jey comes out and says it's time to get back to what they've been meant to do, become tag team champions. Roman says that's all he ever wanted for them, to be together on the same page, all three of them. Nobody can touch them if they do this. If they do it his way, though. They embrace, and they're back on the same page all of a sudden. First off, I am not convinced still that Jimmy Uso is a full-on heel. To me, it feels like he's the one trying to play the mind games and put the crack in the bloodline. But two, the thing that just bugs me a little bit is when Jimmy first came back, wasn't Roman not okay with them going after the tag titles because it ruined things? Even though he claims he wants to do his best for the family, the thing he claims is best for the family, he's doing whatever can protect him from losing his spot at the head of the table, being the Universal Champion. So why all of a sudden is he okay again with them fighting for the tag titles? Like being a tag team. Like when he fought for the tag titles, it's like he basically told Jey, it's like, it was like, it's like, it's your choice. Me or your brother. Put in the middle of it. But all of a sudden Roman's okay. I mean, unless if it's because, he thinks Jimmy's, on the same page. Like I said, I feel like Jimmy's just playing the mind games. I don't feel like Jimmy's a full-fledged heel right now. But yeah, so that was weird. So we have that. Then we have Baron Corbin backstage saying he needs to win because his life has been a mess lately. He's trapped in the box and he's lost his money, his crown, his car, and he's about to lose his house. He has to win the briefcase to get a championship payday. And that's the only shot to turn his life around, as he's, of course, gone depressed ever since he lost his crown and everything. Big E came out, and apparently him and Pat McAfee were giving themselves, putting their feet in ice water or something like that. It was random. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs comes out, and then Baron Corbin rolls up to the arena in Corbin's repossessed car. But then during their entrance, Corbin attacked Nakamura, but then Rick Boogs makes a save, and then we have the match, and Nakamura wins after Corbin lays out Boogs with a lariat, and then Nakamura hits a Kinshasa on Corbin, and he is the 7th person to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which I'm cool with. And then we see backstage the Usos chatting in a nice room with Jay's Andre Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy. Jay affirms that brothers fight, but pitches Jimmy on taking care of some business before Roman has to ask, and he seems receptive. Natalya and Tamina then come out. They're supposed to be debuting against a new team, which they're like, oh, who the heck can be? They're not better than us. But sure enough, that team ends up being NXT's Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox, which I'm like, cool, except would Vince book them right? I mean, Shotzi I feel like will be okay on the main roster. Again, it's obvious that NXT's been super high on Shotzi. I feel like Shotzi, honestly, is not really known for her wrestling, even though she has like that Daredevil style to her. But I feel like she's definitely more of a character gimmick. And I feel like someone who's more character driven like that is more meant for the main roster. Tegan Nox, so I worry. I feel like it may be a little too soon. First off, I feel like she has unfinished business in NXT with Candice LeRae, of course, and maybe her winning the women's title off of Dakota Kai or Raquel Gonzalez, one of the two. To kind of come full story that circle, full story with that, not that circle, with that story. Come full circle with that story. That's what I meant to say. But they're calling her up just after she comes back from her 3rd knee injury. I don't know. And then they're calling. Well, they were introduced, even though Pat McAfee said their full names a couple times. They're being introduced, and they were announced as winners because they won the match as Shotzi and Nox. So Shotzi Blackheart maybe just Shotzi, and then Tegan Nox maybe just Nox. Shotzi only I'm fine with. Nox though, for Tegan Nox, that worries me. Like I said, I don't like Shotzi. I'm a little more comfortable with. Tegan, I'm not. Also, why are they literally trying to make the same tag team with Shotzi and Tegan like it was for Shotzi and Ember? I mean, I get it. You don't want to call up Ember Moon again because, obviously Vince saw nothing in her, so put her back in NXT. Totally fine with that, but I'm definitely a little bit worried about Tegan Nox. I feel like it was too soon, but they may have had no choice because this may have been done because of Bayley. That's I feel like might be the only reason why, because they also had a vignette for Toni Storm. And so, like I said, they may need the women, so I get it, but at the same time, I feel like Tegan Nox too soon. Like, they could have, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Keith Lee, but this could have been when they brought back Mia Yim as Mia Yim, not Reckoning. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens. They're treated like a tag team for now. They'll probably be the ones that win the women's tag titles off of what's their names? Natalya and Tamina. Fine, but I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with Tegan Nox being on the main roster. They would, though. Edge was backstage. He says he's going to save his comment for later when he goes to the ring to call out Roman Reigns, but he's curious to see if Roman has the balls to come alone. But no matter what, it's not going to be happy for them. Now we have Sonya Deville announcing Bayley's knee injury, and that she'll be out for 9 months. And Bayley announced her injury and blaming the fans for it. But Sonya then appoints a new opponent, as Bianca will no longer be defending the title at Money in the Bank. Instead, she'll defend it next Friday on the first touring show. And her opponent will be Carmella, which I figured it would be Carmella. She comes out and says she gets it, she's hot, and we're mad. She thanks Sonya for the long overdue honor, but corrects her, insisting that she also be given the accolade of most beautiful woman in WWE. Which then just brings out Liv Morgan. Liv is pissed because she accuses Sonya of just playing favoritism and excluding her, but Sonya shuts her up and says, that's not the case. I was about to point her as Carmella's replacement in the Money in the Bank ladder match. She has 30 seconds to get out of the ring before she changes her mind. She's like, oh, okay then. And I'm like, really? So, I don't know if this again was because of Bayley, but literally you had her go through all these hoops just to be like, oh, it's okay. I'm in the match now. It's all fine. It's like, the drama just got cut out and died. Like, they obviously, the story was meant to build up, Liv as the hot baby face going into the women's ladder match, and to, make her be the one to see have the fans see win. But they, but then they just literally just like, I don't know. So Liv's in the match, and then Carmella and Bianca have like a stare down afterwards, and that was that. We'll skip the next match because that's really what hurt it. The show. Well, first we also had we had some backstage segments with the Usos roll up to Edge's dressing room. Jimmy knocks on the door, but then Jay convinced him to wait until later. Edge was no longer in the locker room, and Jay says he's lucky no one's in there. I can skip that. Well, let me skip that. Chad Gable and Otis had a match basically saying that, Otis is going to destroy everyone and whatnot. The show ended, and I'll talk about the main thing that just really flattened my excitement for the show, for the fans. But the ending was Edge coming out to the ring calling out Roman Reigns. And he asked if Roman and the Usos are registered anywhere so he can get them leads. He doesn't care how many family members they have. He's exposed the crack in the table, and he's going to take the title and leave anyone who gets in his way looking like Reigns and Jimmy did when he choked him out with the chair bars. He shows photos of when he did to both of them. He says those eyes scream fear and feeds off of fear. He's going to take the Universal title from Money in the Bank, and he wants Roman to get down here right now. Roman comes out with the Usos. But of course, he leaves, the room for Roman to come down. Roman comes out there. They stare, him and Edge stare down for each other. Then they start throwing punches until the music hits, and the Mysterios, Dominic and Rey, who have had some recent issues with Roman Reigns as well, hit the ring and basically even up the odds. And then, I guess, Roman watched as Edge they came out top, and Edge put Jay in that crossface with the chair bar as Roman stared him down. Obviously, again, trying to just, get in the head of Roman Reigns, which, fine. Like I said, it works. But like I said, I think it's the whole idea of what the heck is going on with Roman and the Usos now just got confused because, like I said, didn't he not want them to be fighting for the tag titles, more focusing on Roman himself? But like I said, it's just, I don't get it. I didn't get that part, but this is still fine. I get what they're trying to do with this, but let's talk about the biggest talking point of this show, though. The reason why I came out, well, first, live chat, check the live chat. Tyler's here. He gave the show a D. He says goodbye Thunderdome. The only reason Cesaro got a world title match is because Bryan took his ball and went home. Corbin is being squandered in the SpongeBob. What? I don't even get that. Please get part of the SmackDown committee. Please get Pat McAfee off SmackDown commentary. Well, so much for that I Quit match. How many times Liv came out and kept getting Money in the Bank? She was coming out demanding the opportunity, but, was not getting it. Edge and Mysterio versus the Bloodline 6-man tag match next week. Nice. And Edge and Roman should main event Money in the Bank. I agree. But let's talk about the biggest turning point. The biggest thing to me that really deflated me from this show is the match with Seth Rollins and Cesaro for the final Money in the Bank spot. Look, first, take a swig here. I shouldn't really get upset completely about this because he chose to stay. Cesaro chose to stay. His contract expired earlier in the year. You could have, he could have left and gone to AEW. He could have gone to New Japan. He could have gone to Impact. He could have gone somewhere else where he would have been treated like a main eventer. But obviously, he fell for the old trick. Despite Daniel Bryan pushing for him to get a push, Vince McMahon says, okay, we'll do it, but the moment he gets that opportunity, I don't care how good he does, he's done. We're not doing anything more. And that's exactly what happened with Cesaro. First off, this match, it was good. Cesaro, of course, got busted open, but Seth Rollins won. And that's a huge mistake. Because look at what they've done with Cesaro recently. He had a couple big wins over Daniel Bryan before the Royal Rumble. He was honestly a favorite to possibly win the Royal Rumble. He had, a good but limited showing in the Elimination Chamber match earlier this year. I still think he should have won that match. He entered a feud with Seth Rollins, which I was like, okay, I'm great. Had an excellent match at WrestleMania. Did that amazing freaking UFO. Fans loved it. And he, of course, honestly, you just had to give him a shot, put him in the chair, and let him do him. And he took it, knocked it out of the ballpark, ran out as far as he could, caught the ball, and brought it right back just to do it exactly again. That led to him getting that Universal title opportunity against Roman at WrestleMania Backlash, which, yes, I didn't expect him to win it there, but he lost, but he did a hell of a job in the match. Excellent job in the match. But then he had a match with Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. And Seth won. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Cesaro getting that loss there, putting the sympathy on him, and basically, just making it a little more suspenseful as he gets Money in the Bank. And I kept saying, the best thing to do is have Cesaro win Money in the Bank, have Roman and John Cena face off. Cesaro cashed in on Roman after the match at SummerSlam. Cesaro wins the championship. Give him that run. Just giving him a title match and a WrestleMania moment was already much more they've ever done with Cesaro. Instead, you have Cesaro lose here. Again, I started to worry about Cesaro's push being over when he lost in that mixed tag match to Bianca and Rollins, and Bayley and Seth and Bianca and Cesaro teamed up, and that's when I started to fear. And it happened. Cesaro lost. His push is basically over. Not only does that hurt Cesaro, but it hurts my excitement for, future shows, because nobody knew his build. Nobody in that men's Money in the Bank ladder match, to me, I believe, has a chance, except for Drew McIntyre, who is the one that's being overpushed right now. And I'm sorry, again, I love Drew McIntyre. I'm glad they finally gave him his shot. And he was excellent as champion for the past year. But since dropping that belt, he's had so many stinking opportunities, yet he also loses a match where he can't challenge for the world title as long as Bobby Lashley is champion. But he can, of course, cash in on Roman Reigns, which, we've already seen the match. And he can't cash in on Bobby Lashley, but he could cash in on Brock Lesnar. That's what I'm worried is going to happen. I am worried that Brock Lesnar is going to come back. He's going to beat Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam, and then Drew's going to cash in on him, and he'll win the title back that way. That's not the way to go. One, you cut off Bobby Lashley's momentum by losing to Brock Lesnar, and Bobby Lashley should be destroying Brock Lesnar. Plus two, you're not building a new star. Like, who in that ladder match has a chance? Ricochet? I don't think so. I'd love to think he would, but no. John Morrison, again, would love to, but no, he has no chance. Matt Riddle? Heck no. I don't want Riddle winning that because I hate the character they have for Riddle now. It's awful. And then there's Drew McIntyre on Raw. On SmackDown now there's Seth Rollins, who has no reason to win the briefcase. Shinsuke Nakamura, I'd be fine, but I have no faith they pull the trigger on him. Kevin Owens, I'd be fine with also, but he's not going to win a world title. Big E is now the person I want to see win Money in the Bank. If they can't give it to Cesaro, then give it to Big E. But now I'm worried again. They're going to just put it on Drew. Brock Lesnar's going to return, and he'll face Lashley, and then he'll beat Lashley, which is also a horrible move. And then we're going to have McIntyre cash in, and people are going to boo him out of the building. Because he's gotten how many title shots? Again, thank you, Drew. Thank you for all you've done with the World Championship, for being a main eventer, for getting us through the pandemic. You did an excellent job. But WWE is now booking him to be hated. Talking about the Loch Ness Monster, cutting like, Roman Reigns, Jack and the Beanstalk type promos. It's horrible. And like I said, just having this man, literally, we were begging for a long time to give him a shot. He gets a shot, and now a year later, we're booing him out of the building. I mean, it happened with Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins did it to himself. Drew McIntyre didn't. Drew McIntyre knows how to handle main events. He knows how to be professional. He knows how to handle criticism. But now, like I said, with Cesaro not in there, the outcome for the Money in the Bank men's ladder match is so predictable. Like I said, the future of that's just going to end up what it usually is. Just the one person being shoved down their throats, part-timers, nothing else. But like I said, this should have been Cesaro. But again, Cesaro chose to stay. Obviously, again, they just kissed up and gave him that WrestleMania moment and that world title match, which again, a lot more than I ever expected to give him before, but now he's back to where he was before he resigned. That's where we're at now. So because of that, Cesaro's back to being a mid-carder. And it's unfortunate. Very. That's my review, guys. I'm getting tired. I'm getting ready to go to bed. I'm tired. I gave the show a C-. Like I said, it wasn't a bad show, but again, it was just a deflating show. Cesaro losing was the biggest mistake they've made recently. And again, it just deflated my excitement for this show big time. For Money in the Bank, for any episode of Raw or SmackDown, because it just shows the same thing. They're going to push whoever they want, and they're not going to push who deserves opportunities like Cesaro. Yes, give him a world title shot and a WrestleMania moment as a single star was already, a lot they've done before. But yeah, like I said, this show just ruined my excitement for the main roster, and I gave this show a C-. Live chat before we go off the air here, because I'm getting tired. I thought Cesaro should have went to NWA, he says. Anywhere, so much for Cesaro, push for the 80th time. And the thing is, too, is fans, I'm sure, are getting sick of it. Here's goes the thing where I said about Braun Strowman. If they ever decide to pull the trigger on Cesaro, they're probably going to do it when it's too late. Nobody cares, because how many times have you how many more times are you going to really tease a push for him and then just pull the plug on it? Again, nobody's going to care now at this point because, obviously you don't, because you really missed when the iron was super hot for him. But what do I know? At SummerSlam, how about ladder match for the Money in the Bank briefcase between Edge versus Rollins versus Cesaro? They did tease a Seth Rollins, and they're teasing Seth Rollins and Edge for SummerSlam, which, cool with me, but I mean, that would be good, but like I said, I have no longer have any faith they're going to ever push Cesaro. So that's why. And he also thinks that Jinder will cost Drew the Money in the Bank contract. Anthony's here. He says, do you think Cesaro has a personality that's stable? What do you think? He might need a second in command who can talk on a microphone. At this point, who knows? I said, just who knows? Cesaro's just done, and he shouldn't have even re-signed in general, but that's what I do, guys. Again, wow, it's 2 o'clock in the morning here. I'm tired. I have a long day tomorrow, so I'm going to head to bed now. Thank you guys again. I'm sorry again the stream started late, but it is what it is. So, C- for SmackDown. What are your thoughts on SmackDown? Did this show not capitalize by putting Cesaro in the match? deflate your excitement like it deflated me. What are your thoughts on Jimmy Uso being here after being arrested? Bailey's injury and the rumors that Brock Lesnar and John Cena now may not be at SummerSlam. Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe for more content to my channel. And please follow me on Twitter at TheManAirboy93. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. Have a great night. I'll see you all later. Peace out, everybody.